Fame, the caboose to the engine of my wanting to act, presented a psychological paradox that was unexpected. Wanting to be seen, but not that much. Nobody had much sympathy, and in the press there were echoes of that pernicious qualifier of a woman's experience of unwanted attention, passed down through the ages in a vicious relay. Well, she was asking for it, wasn't she? I had been living and making movies in New York, staying mostly in hotels and on couches. For a few nights I had slept in my tiny dressing room on the Chelsea Piers where we were shooting the film Big Night. The best thing about this was waking up at 5:30 a.m. and going and sitting at Isabella Rossellini's feet and watching her put on her makeup. Drowsy from the hour and the August heat, I listened as she told me stories of Italy and of being on sets with her mother. Her beautiful voice would lull me further back to sleep, until eventually my head would rest against the leg of her chair and the silky trail of her kimono. My sister found my living situation needlessly uncomfortable, and told me that some friends of friends she'd had in college were looking for a roommate. Bill was Diane Keaton's assistant, and Alexandra was a photographer turned writer. Both had grown up in Washington, D.C., had known each other a long time, and were a double act of the Mike Nichols, Elaine May variety. "We don't mind if you pay more and have a bigger room. You're an actress. You should pay more. You should have a bigger room," said Bill. "Yeah, I'll sleep in the closet as long as the lighting's good," said Alexandra. We spoke on the phone, and I asked her how we would find an apartment. "I'll get up really early and get the Times. I can always find apartments. It's a gift I can't monetize, which blows, but we're going to live somewhere awesome." "Couldn't you be a realtor?" I said, "to monetize your gift?" There was a long silence. "Yeah, but then I'd have to be a realtor." The very next day, she called me at 7 a.m. and told me to go and meet the landlord in the place she'd found. "Take cash for the deposit, and I'm pretty sure your British accent will work instead of a credit score." I arrived a few hours later at a brownstone on 22nd Street between 9th and 10th Avenues. It was a ground and first floor apartment with 2 bedrooms and a huge bay window onto the street. The landlord took the cash, I signed some grubby papers, and she gave me the keys and said, "Rent is the first of the month. Ethan Hawke lives down the street. Don't bother him. And the Ha Ha Deli on 9th Avenue is good for gin and cigs, but don't eat the sandwiches." Then she left, and I quickly looked out the window for Ethan Hawke. Our super, a man named Claude, disapproved of us immediately. He had the air of the proprietor of a ladies' boarding house from the 19th century and clutched imaginary pearls under his overalls every time a new lover emerged at daybreak onto our stoop. When my bed frame broke and I asked if he could help me fix it, he took a long time shaking his head no. Apparently I had made my own bed from sin, and now I must lie in it. I was making the movie Sleepers, and sometimes would ride my bike to the set, often trailed by paparazzi, also on bikes. I was younger, fitter, and very much enjoyed forcing them to race down the West Side Highway. Occasionally I would flash them my knickers as some kind of fuck you for the picture they couldn't get without heading into oncoming traffic. The movie had virtually every famous actor I'd ever heard of in it. I watched them jostle for their hierarchical positions and wondered how it got decided. It was thrilling in the extreme to have been included, but the truth was I was eminently cuttable. A 2-shot with Brad Pitt would go like this. "Okay, A camera got the 2 of you in a medium, and B camera is a bit closer. Okay, Minnie, just take a small step, camera left." A short conversation would then take place behind the monitors. "Okay, and another step." More chat. "Alrighty, and one more step left, please, Minnie." Silence. "Okay, it's a single on Brad, people. Makeup." I had one scene with Robert De Niro, and it was the only time we ever really rehearsed anything but the blocking. I didn't say anything in the scene, and he gave me one of his own lines, which felt like receiving the sacrament. I was terrified and never knew what to call him. Everyone called him Bob, but I couldn't call Robert De Niro Bob.